The Alaskan tundra stretched endless and unforgiving under a 38-degree Fahrenheit night sky, the stars above blazing with a cold, unyielding light. The Starlight engine prototype pulsed in Elon Musk's hands, its blue glow syncing with the larger engine Evelyn Carter had guarded for 54 years, now humming inside the rusted shack behind them. The twin beams of radiant energy pierced the darkness, cutting upward like a signal to the heavens. A signal that had drawn Victor Grayson and his coalition team to this frozen expanse, their plane's engine still roaring a mile away as they disembarked into the snow. Elon stood at the ridge's edge, the cylinder warm against his palms, his breath clouding in the frigid air. Beside him, Mae Musk gripped the cracked leather journal, her silver hair whipping in the wind, her eyes fierce with the truth of Joshua's sacrifice. Jolie, the 85-year-old nanny who'd once soothed Elon's childhood dreams, leaned on Clara's arm, her frail frame trembling but her spirit defiant. Clara clutched her wrench, her sharp gaze locked on the approaching headlights, while Evelyn, tall and weathered, her white hair stark against the night, shouldered a rifle, her lantern casting long shadows across the ice. Victor's voice boomed across the tundra, amplified by a megaphone. "Musk, you've got nowhere to run. Hand over the cores, both of them, or we bury you here." Elon's jaw tightened, but before he could respond, the larger engine flared, its beam intensifying. The ground shuddered, snow shifting beneath their feet, and a low-frequency signal erupted from the shack, syncing with the prototype in his hands. The sound was deafening, a rhythmic pulse that drowned out Victor's threats and set their teeth on edge. Evelyn spun toward the shack, her eyes wide. "It's waking up," she said, her voice cutting through the hum. "Joshua built it to protect itself. It knows they're here." Clara squinted into the distance, where Victor's team fanned out from their plane, rifles glinting in the starlight. "Great timing," she muttered. "But knowing's not enough. They've got numbers." Mae stepped forward, her voice steady despite the chaos. "Then we move." The journal, Victor mentioned a valley 20 miles west, the Valley of Fallen Stars. "It's in Joshua's notes. Could be a fallback." Elon nodded, his mind racing. "If it's a fallback, there's something there, another piece of this. Evelyn, can the big engine hold them off?" Evelyn chambered around in her rifle, her lips a thin line. "It'll try, but we need distance. Victor's not bluffing." The headlights surged closer, engines roaring as 3 snowmobiles broke from the group, tearing across the tundra. Gunfire cracked, bullets pinging off the ice near the shack. Jolie flinched, but her voice rose above the din. "The star burns brightest when the lost stand," she said, her Spanish lilt fierce. "We're not lost yet." Elon grabbed her arm, pulling her toward the jet parked half a mile back. "Then we run, now!" The group stumbled through the snow, the cylinder's glow lighting their path as the larger engine's beam pulsed behind them, a shimmering shield that scattered Victor's first wave. Evelyn fired a shot, the crack echoing as a snowmobile veered off course, its driver cursing into the night. But the others closed in, their engines a snarling chorus. They reached the jet, its hatch still open, and piled inside. Elon slammed the controls, the engines roaring to life, but a sharp thud rocked the hull, a grappling hook embedding in the fuselage. Victor's voice crackled over the comms, cold and triumphant. "You're not flying out, Musk. Clara's ours. Give me the cores and she walks." Elon spun, his heart sinking. Clara was gone, snatched in the chaos as they'd boarded. Through the window, he saw her struggling in Victor's grip, a snowmobile idling beside them, her wrench lying useless in the snow. "Damn it," he growled, slamming a fist against the console. Mae grabbed his shoulder, her eyes blazing. "We can't leave her." "We won't," Elon said, his voice steel. "He wants a trade. Let's give him one he doesn't expect." Jolie clutched the journal, her hands trembling but her mind sharp. "The valley," she said. "He mentioned it 20 miles west. It's a lure. He's got Clara, but he's pointing us there." Evelyn nodded, slinging her rifle over her shoulder. "Then we go on foot. The jet's a target. He'll shoot it down. We've got the cores. He'll follow." Elon hesitated, then grabbed the cylinder, its warmth a lifeline. "Okay, we race him to the valley. Get Clara back and end this." They abandoned the jet, slipping into the tundra as Victor's team swarmed the airstrip. The snow bit at their legs, the wind howling, but the cylinder's glow guided them west, its signal a faint heartbeat in the night. Evelyn took point, her lantern swinging, while May and Jolie followed, the journal tucked under May's coat. The larger engine's beam faded behind them, its hum swallowed by the storm. Half an hour later, the tundra dipped into a shallow basin, the Valley of Fallen Stars. The snow glittered with faint, unnatural light, and at its center, a small energy core glowed beneath the ice, pulsing in sync with the prototype. Elon knelt, brushing snow aside, his breath catching. "It's alive," he said. "Another piece." Joshua scattered them. Before they could dig deeper, snowmobiles roared over the ridge, headlights blinding. Victor dismounted, dragging Clara with him, her wrists bound. "Smart move, Musk," he called, his voice dripping venom. "But predictable. The cores, now." Elon stood, the cylinder raised. "Let her go first." Victor smirked, shoving Clara forward. She stumbled, her eyes fierce despite the ropes. "Don't do it, Elon," she hissed. "He's got a radio, someone's feeding him orders." Victor's hand twitched to his earpiece, a faint crackle audible. "Shut up," he snapped, then turned to Elon. "The master of the Starlight says time's up. Cora's, or she's dead." May stepped beside Elon, her voice low. "The master? Who's that?" "No idea," Elon muttered, his mind racing. "But he's not getting this." Evelyn raised her rifle, her aim steady. "Last chance, Victor. Walk away." A new voice cut through the night, gravelly, familiar, and impossibly alive. "Stand down, Evelyn." From the shadows of a snowmobile stepped Pete Grayson, Victor's grandfather, his weathered face lined with 80 years of bitterness. His mechanic's hands, once Joshua's partner, now gripped a pistol, his eyes locked on the group. May gasped, her voice breaking. "Pete, you're dead. The crash..." Pete's laugh was a dry rasp. "Faked it. Joshua wasn't the only one with tricks. I've been waiting, watching since he betrayed me." Elon's grip tightened on the cylinder. "Betrayed you? He died to protect this from you." Pete's eyes narrowed. "He stole my cut, my legacy. The Coalition's mine now, and the Master's pulling strings you can't imagine. That core..." He pointed to the glowing ice. "It's the heart. Give it up." Jolie stepped forward, her frail voice cutting through the wind. "You're the lost one, Pete. Joshua's star wasn't yours to take." Pete sneered, raising his pistol, but the cylinder flared, its beam joining the buried core's light. The ground shook, a radiant pulse rippling outward, and Victor staggered, his earpiece screeching. "What the hell?" he started, but Clara seized the moment, slamming her bound hands into his gut. He doubled over, and she bolted to the group, panting. "Nice timing," she said, grinning despite the ropes. Evelyn fired, the shot grazing Pete's arm, and he cursed, retreating to the snowmobiles. Victor scrambled after him, shouting into his radio. "Master, they've got the heart, send backup." The Coalition retreated, their engines fading into the storm, but Pete's parting words lingered. "The Master knows you're weak. Alaska's just the start." Elon knelt by the buried core, its glow faint but alive. "It's not the full engine," he said, digging it free. "Evelyn's got the body. This is another piece." May clutched the journal, her resolve firm. "Then we keep going, for Joshua." Jolie smiled, her eyes reflecting the starlight. "The lost stand together," she said, "and we're not lost." The group trudged back to the shack, the two cores humming in unison, their beams piercing the 38-degree Fahrenheit sky. Lucia's voice crackled over a salvaged radio. "Elon, we saw the pulse, 2,000 miles south. You okay?" "For now," he replied, glancing at the horizon. "But the Master's out there, and we're not done." The tundra stretched silent, the stars unyielding, and the race for the starlight burned on. The Alaskan tundra faded into a blur of white as the jet lifted off, its engines roaring against the 38-degree Fahrenheit night. Inside, the cabin hummed with tension and exhaustion, the faint blue glow of the Starlight engine prototype casting shadows across the faces of Elon Musk, May, Jolie, Clara, and Evelyn Carter. The small energy core they'd unearthed in the Valley of Fallen Stars rested beside the prototype on the table, its light pulsing in sync, a twin heartbeat of Joshua Haldeman's legacy. The larger engine, still safe in Evelyn's shack, had flared one last time as they'd fled, its beam piercing the sky and scattering Victor Grayson's coalition team into the storm. Elon leaned back in his seat, the prototype warm in his hands, his sharp eyes tracing its runes. "We've got two pieces," he said, his voice low but steady. "The core from Calgary, the heart from the valley. Evelyn's got the body, but it's not complete." Evelyn, her white hair stark against the cabin's dim light, nodded from across the table. Her weathered hands rested on her rifle, still primed from the fight. "Joshua split it for a reason," she said. "3 parts, 3 keys. He knew the coalition would come. This," she tapped the small core, "it's the heart, but it needs the body and something else to sing." May clutched the cracked leather journal, her silver hair catching the glow. "The journal mentions a final spark," she said, flipping to a page marked with Joshua's tight script. "The starlight lives in 3, core, heart, and spark. Only together do they burn. We're missing the spark." Clara, her wrists still red from the ropes Victor had bound her with, smirked despite the ache. "Great, another scavenger hunt. Any guesses where this spark's hiding?" Jolie slumped in her seat, straightened slightly, her 85-year-old frame weary but her eyes sharp. "The story," she murmured, her Spanish lilt soft but firm. "The star that guides the lost. It's not done. I feel it. Something Joshua told me, something I've forgotten. It's out there." Elon met her gaze, a flicker of awe in his expression. "You've carried this longer than any of us, Jolie. If it's in you, it'll come." The jet droned south, the 1,500-mile trek to Palo Alto stretching ahead. The core's signal hummed through the speakers, a steady pulse that Lucia had detected 2,000 miles away at SpaceX. Her voice crackled over the comms as they neared California. "Elon, that beam hit our sensors again, stronger this time. You've got something big. Victor's plane took off 20 minutes after you. He's limping, but he's coming." Elon's jaw tightened. "He's got Pete with him now. The coalition's not just Victor's grudge, it's a machine, and someone's cranking the gears." Evelyn's lips thinned. "The master of the starlight," she said. "Victor mentioned him in the valley. Pete's alive, but he's not the top. Someone else is pulling strings. Someone Joshua feared." The jet touched down in Palo Alto under a 60-degree Fahrenheit night sky, the SpaceX estate's 47 acres sprawling before them, its gardens bathed in starlight. Lucia met them at the hangar, her tablet glowing with data, her eyes wide as she took in the 2 cores. "These are unreal," she said, scanning the small heart. "The energy output. It's like a mini sun. Joshua was a genius." "He was more than that," May said, her voice soft but firm. "He was a father, a husband. This is his heart, not just his mind." They moved to the lab, the cores placed on a steel table under harsh lights. The prototype flared as Elon connected it to the heart, their beams merging into a single radiant pulse that shot through the ceiling, detected by Lucia's team across the compound. "It's syncing," she said, her fingers flying over the tablet. "But it's incomplete. There's a gap in the frequency." Clara crossed her arms, her wrench tucked into her belt. "The spark," she said, "We've got the core and the heart. Where's the third piece?" Jolie shuffled to the table, her trembling hands brushing the journal. "It's in the story," she said, her voice gaining strength. "Joshua loved my tales, said they held truth. The shepherd in the mountains, guided by the star. It burned brightest when he found his flock. Maybe the spark's where we stand together." Elon frowned, piecing it together. A metaphor or a location. The valley was one clue. What's next? Before they could dig deeper, the lab's alarms blared, red lights flashing. Lucia's tablet flared with alerts. "Perimeter breach," she snapped. "3 vehicles, Victor's back." The security feed flickered on, showing Victor's SUVs rolling through the estate's gates, slower this time, their tires scarred from the tundra chase. Victor stepped out, his graying hair wild, his rifle slung over his shoulder. Pete Grayson followed, his mechanic's hands steady despite his age, his pistol glinting. But Victor's face was different, less certain, his eyes darting as if wrestling with something unseen. Elon hit the comms, his voice sharp. "Victor, you're outmatched. Walk away." Victor's laugh was hollow, crackling through the speakers. "Not my call, Musk. The master wants the cores, says they're the key to everything, but—" He paused, his earpiece buzzing faintly. "I'm done chasing ghosts." Pete spun on him, his voice a growl. "You don't get to quit, boy. This is my fight. Joshua's debt." Victor shook his head, stepping back. "Your fight, not mine. I heard her story, the old lady's tale, the star guiding the lost. It's not about revenge, it's bigger." He tossed a small device into the snow, a radio, and turned to his men. "We're out, let the master come himself." Pete roared, lunging for him, but Victor's team held him back, their loyalty wavering. The SUVs peeled away, leaving Pete alone, his pistol raised. "Cowards!" he shouted, firing a wild shot that pinged off the lab's shutters. Elon watched, stunned. "He's breaking," he said. "Jolie, you got to him." Jolie smiled faintly, her eyes reflecting the core's glow. "The story's true," she said. "It's Joshua's light, not Pete's darkness." Pete's figure retreated into the night, his curses swallowed by the wind, but his warning lingered. "The master's coming. You've got the heart. He'll take it." The lab settled, the core's hum a steady rhythm. Lucia locked the shutters, her voice tense. "He's right. Someone's still out there. That signal's a beacon." Elon lifted the heart, its warmth seeping into his hands. "Then we use it," he said. "Connect it. See what it calls." Lucia wired the cores to the lab's grid, their beams merging into a single radiant column that pierced the 60-degree Fahrenheit sky. The signal spiked, a pulse that rattled the walls, and a faint crackle broke through the speakers. A voice, fragile but clear. "Joshua, I kept it." "Evelyn." May's breath caught. "She's alive, still in Alaska." The tablet flared, new coordinates flashing. 1,500 miles north, deeper into the tundra. "She's got the body," Evelyn said, her voice steady over the comms as Lucia patched her in. "But the spark's elsewhere. Joshua hid it where the stars fell last. Find it, and we finish this." Clara frowned. "Where the stars fell last? A meteor site." Elon's mind raced, his engineer's instinct kicking in. "Maybe, or a symbol, something Joshua tied to the story. Jolie, what's the shepherd's end?" Jolie closed her eyes, her voice soft. "He finds his flock under the brightest star, the one that fell to Earth. It's hope. Rebirth." May flipped through the journal, her fingers pausing on a sketch. A map, faint but clear, marked with a crater in northern Canada. "Here," she said. "Great Bear Lake, 1971. A meteor hit the ice. Joshua circled it. The spark sleeps." Elon nodded, his resolve hardening. "Then that's our next stop. The coalition's fractured, but the master's still out there. We get the spark. We end this." The group gathered in the garden, the core's light reflecting off the 47-acre estate's trees. Jolie stood under the starlit sky, her $25,000 life of quiet strength now a beacon. "It's not just tech," she said, her Spanish tale echoing in her words. "It's us. Forgiveness, up, a bond across time." Elon placed the cores in a secure case, their hum a promise. "For Dad," he said, "for all of us." The jet prepped for takeoff, the coordinates locked. Great Bear Lake, 1,200 miles northeast. As they boarded, the heart pulsed again, a new signal crackling through. "Joshua, I kept it. Evelyn." The voice faded, but the core's light held, a testament to a $5,000 vision that defied decades. The night stretched ahead, the master's shadow looming, but the starlight burned brighter, rekindled, unbroken, and ready for the fight.